Alright, this is the basic training video for Task Force 145 for Insurgency Sandstorm. Alright, so first you'll load out. You're going to use the M4A1. It's going to have the 4X M150, the recoil grip, and the laser sight. Next you're going to use the M9 so as your sidearm with a quick draw holster, and that's actually it. Next, so if you're a commander, you're obviously gonna have 5 support. So, no, these are it. And then light carrier. Okay, so ammo carrier. So you're gonna use the light carrier. It's gonna be 2 mags and an additional explosives slot. So for your explosives, what you're gonna have, not a smoke. You're gonna have an M67 frag grenade and a M84 flash grenade. Alright, and then you're gonna have light armor, accessories. Gas mask is optional. Alright, and then so this is again the basic training video. Okay. Also, for your weapon system, any gun that you use, except, and I repeat, except for a, what is that? Sorry, I got sidetracked. Except for a LMG. So, except for any of these LMGs, it must be semi-automatic. SMGs included. Alright. Now, going over, okay, so this part's going to be about your weapon systems, alright? So these are the weapon systems that you're allowed to use in Task Force 145. So you're obviously allowed to use the M249 SAW, as well as the M240 Bravo, the M60, and the M250, okay? So now going to SMGs, pretty much the MP5A5. That's MP7 on certain occasions, as well as the Honey Badger. Next, going over to snipers, you can use the M110 SASS. You can use the Mark 14 EBR, the M24. You can use the M82A1 CQ. You can also use the TAC 338. Yeah. That is all at this moment. Now going over assault rifles. So you're allowed to use the M16A4, the M4A1, the M16A2. So you're allowed to use both M16s plus the M4. And then you are also allowed to use Mark 18 if you're advisor. And then the WCX on certain occasions. And none of these assault rifles right here. Well, those two are not an assault rifle, but you understand what I mean. And then for rocket launchers, you can use the AT4. And just the Panzerfaust and the M3 Maws. So you're allowed to use all RPGs, alright? Next, explosives. You can also use the M320 or the M79 Thumper. We've gone over this one. M67 Frag, AN M14 Incendiary, and then you're also allowed to use the smokes and the flash grenades. Pistols, 1911, M9, and the M45. Also the PF940, which is the Glock. That should be. Okay. Oh, shotguns. M870 is the only one you're allowed to use. You're also allowed to use the Mark 17, which is the SCAR. And yeah, that's all. And then that's the TAC 338. right there, the tan one. Okay, now then, so going over attachments for the M16A4 is the exact same attachments as the M4 that I've gone over. The 4X M150, recoil grip, and laser sight. And then also semi-automatic. M18 CQBR is, so basically you are allowed to have the ACOG as well. So you can have the ACOG for the Mark 18, or you can have a EOTech. Alright. Those are the only two. Barrel, if it is nighttime, and I repeat, only if it's nighttime, you can use a suppressor. Underbarrel, recoil grip, and then side rail, laser sight. Those are the guns that you are allowed to have. Oh, that's the attachments for that gun. Alright, now I'm gonna do test shooting. Oh, yeah. WCX, you can have an ACOG. So you can have an ACOG, or an EOTech. You can also have suppressor at nighttime. Then recoil grip, or if you do have the ACOG, I do recommend using the bipod. Because for some reason you can use it on that gun. And then laser sight. Okay, let's move on to snipers. M24, 7X sniper, 7X sniper scope. With side rail, with side rail being laser sight, obviously. Anything else? Oh, greased bolts as well. And then M24 and the TAC 338 have the same attachments. All right. So next, Mark 14. Personally, I have never used this weapon, so I will go find that in this section. Because personally, I've never used this or thought about using it, honestly. Okay, there it is. So you can use, okay, so you can use the 6 times, or you can use 7 times scopes. Barrel, you can use a suppressor for all snipers, even if it's not nighttime. Underbarrel, bipod, and then laser sight. Okay, next, moving on to the M110. So this one's pretty much the same attachments as the Mark 14. Let's see, where is the M110 on this one? So yeah, well, I can't find it, but it's 7X scope, or 6X scope. Same attachments as the Mark 14. MP5, I will go ahead and find that right here, because I know I passed that. That's MP5 right here. Okay, so you can use this 1X MRO. You can also use this 1X red dot. EOTechs as well. Barrel suppressors at nighttime as well. Underbarrel, recoil grip, no extended mag, and then laser sight. So that's your MP5 build. See, next up, LMGs. M250. Again, personally, I've never used this weapon. But okay, so as a gunner, you can put pretty much whatever attachments you want on your machine gun. I I'll tell you what I typically use. So I use for my M60 build, I use ACOG. I use flash hider. I do extended mag, but I also do laser sight. So that's a pretty good build. Also, right there, you can have a RMR on top of your ACOG. And okay, moving on. M60. I just told you my build for that, but I'll go over it one more time. Let's see, where is it? Right there. Okay, so use this. Recoil. Actually, I typically, surprisingly, I don't use the recoil grip on this one. I use flash hider, magazine, inside rail, and laser sight. So that's my build for the M60. And then M249, typically EOTech with a flash hider and laser sight. So, you know what, real quick, we're gonna go over how this shoots. You know, pretty good. I personally love this weapon.
Green to green, dude, let's go.
And then M249. Okay, okay, that sits way lower. As you can see, you can shoot through wood with this, as well as I believe concrete. Do not quote me on that though. M240, again, have never used this weapon, so I am gonna do a shooting test for myself. Okay, I need to start using this weapon. It sounds awesome. I'm gonna say same attachments as the M249. Yeah, that covers that. So, pistols, pretty standard. Typically for just a quick draw holster. That's what I use, at least. These, you know, you can't have attachments. Not going over those. Okay, let's go back upstairs. Mark 17. ACOG.
Yo, hey!
You can put an ACOG on it, or an EOTech. You can also put recoil grip and laser sight. A lot of the assault rifle builds pretty much going to be the exact same, with minor adjustments. M870. So for this weapon, what you're going to do is you're going to throw on the aim point grip. I believe that's what it's called. Side rail, no. Point shooting grip, okay. Or you can just do typical laser sight. I don't like putting sights on a shotgun, but if I have to, I use the 1X MRO. And then compensator if you'd like. No suppressor. And then recoil grip. Okay, if you do use just typical laser sight, use the recoil grip. But that concludes weapon systems. Alright. This video will be up on YouTube shortly.